There we go. Okay. It crashed. But we're back. Let's go.
I bet the killer took a pill and forced Wolfgang to swallow it.
Just jab him at that point.
How would the killer make him swallow a pill? There was no proof they restrained him.
Didn't the killer knock Wolfie out? Maybe that was their way of restraining him.
You can't force an unconscious person to swallow a pill.
What if it was a drug you don't need to eat?
Like an inhalable substance?
Oh yeah, like a powder or something.
The pharmacy does have a large collection of over-the-counter sedatives, but there's too many for us to isolate any specific one.
How did the killer drug Wolfgang? Out of all the ideas being thrown around, only one has real merit.
I bet the killer took a pill and forced Wolfgang to swallow it.
Just jab him at that point.
How would the killer make him swallow a pill? There was no proof they restrained him.
Didn't the killer knock Wolfie out? Maybe that was their way of restraining him.
You can't force an unconscious person to swallow a pill.
What if it was a drug you don't need to eat?
Like an inhalable...
Oh yeah, like a powder or something.
The pharmacy does have a large collection of over-the-counter sedatives, but there's too many for us to isolate any specific one.
Odd smell.
I bet the killer took a pill.
Just jab him at that point.
God,
I got it.
So far. Why was it so tiny?
When Wolfgang's wounds were discussed earlier, it was mentioned he had a tiny red dot below the bruise on his neck. During the investigation, I thought this dot was a scab from a mole or pimple. But knowing Wolfgang was drugged, it's clear to see what it really is. A puncture wound.
Considering the timeline of events, an injection would check out if Wolfgang got drugged a little after 8:15 a.m. and was already feeling the effects when Diana arrived at 8:45 a.m. Then we're dealing with something which entered his bloodstream in under 30 minutes. Any normal pill would have taken... probably an hour to dissolve.
Whilst an injection would be much quicker. I see.
That's probably another reason why the killer knocked Wolfgang unconscious. It would have been incredibly difficult to inject him if he was still moving around. Only when they had him right where they wanted, dazed and unable to fight back, did they plunge the syringe into his neck.
I mean, then again, it was like, what, 2 years ago?
With said syringe being filled with a hallucinogenic.
But if this all happened a few minutes after 8:15 a.m., doesn't that make it impossible to pin a suspect?
What? Why is it impossible?
Because everybody's got an alibi for that time. I mean, Damon and I were in my dorm room, and the other party people...
8:15 a.m. Yeah, I was already in the dining hall with Jet, Mark, and Eva.
I left Wolfgang's dorm right after the morning announcement and spent the rest of the hour with Jean.
When Nona and I were in our dorm room together.
And me and Eloise were already sitting down in the courtyard.
Hi Josh, I had to restart because it crashed. I already told you in DM.
Toshiko was giving me the medication she grabbed from the pharmacy.
And, I stayed in my dorm room until 8:40 a.m.
Oh no! If everyone can be accounted for, we really can't discern a suspect!
So, we're back to square one?
Great.
Someone here must be lying.
And doesn't plan to stop.
What's screwing us over here? Is there a part of this mystery we're getting wrong? Or could it be we're overlooking something? it was ruled out as having no relation to the murder because the wires don't touch the water. But the position of it, the fact it's destroyed, the timing of the blackout, one coincidence is easy to wave off, but when it's coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, then there's something more going on. There's something more to the generator.
If everyone has an alibi for 8:15 a.m., is it possible the killer never actually attacked Wolfie at that time?
No.
But his little note said to come by at 8:15 a.m., didn't it?
Ingrid, do you remember what you said when we couldn't figure out who stole Desmond's taser?
To be honest, I'm drawing a blank.
You suggested we switch subjects and discuss Wolfgang's injuries instead, which we did. As a result, we ended up unraveling more about the case than if we had stuck to the original topic. Right now, we're at a dead end. If we can't get any more leads out of this current discussion, then that's a sign to switch our focus.
Switch our focus to what?
I want to take another look at Diana's testimony.
Mine?
Back when you were describing Wolfgang's death, something stuck out to me.
I won't give up until everyone knows me as Boom. 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 Everything except Wolfgang. In those moments, he became pitch black. And then so did everything else. Plop. Crack. Hear me out.
The flash of white Diana described must have been the generator exploding,
Josh.
with the darkness afterwards being the blackout.
No. I'm screenshotting this on you. And I'm gonna post it on YouTube. I'll let you know. So enjoy.
Think about the order of events there. In just a few seconds, the boiler room's generator explodes, and Wolfgang falls over dead.
I mean, sure, I guess.
Doesn't it sound like the two are correlated?
Nice, I got myself some popcorn.
Oi, didn't we go over this already?
Well, I had to deal with the crashing and stuff. Need him to actually go through more. Okay.
We did! The generator has nothing to do with Wolfgang's death. Its wires weren't touching the water.
Indeed, which is why the murder weapon is the taser gun.
Diana said she never used the taser, though.
Then she's lying!
What?
What?
That's not true! I never fired the gun!
It's all good. I believe you. Sure, nobody can dispute the gun was fired. What can be disputed, though, is when it got fired. I wouldn't be surprised if the killer fired that gun way in advance. Like, sometime before Wolfgang arrived downstairs and left it in the boiler room for us to find later.
What? So the taser gun isn't the murder weapon?
If Wolfgang wasn't killed with the taser gun or the generator, what other options are we left with?
The taser gun is the only option which makes sense. The murder weapon can't be anything else.
The true murder weapon. Is it possible that there's a third source of electricity we haven't considered yet? Am I grasping at straws at thinking something?
And anyway, the only proof Diana never shot the taser is her own word.
Ava! What do you mean?
All the evidence supporting your version of events is circumstantial. The note you showed us? That could be a fake alibi you made for yourself. The fact that it has the same handwriting as Wolfgang's is already suspicious.
Couldn't that just mean the same person tricked them?
If you earnestly believe Diana didn't write it, then maybe. But do you see what I'm saying? There's no proof Diana never wrote the notes. There's only her word to go by. Because if she did write them, everything about her entering the boiler room at 8:45 a.m. and being locked inside could be a total lie.
I get what you're saying. But if we run with the idea that Diana was the one waiting for Wolfgang all the way back at 8:15 a.m., then we're stuck with the issue we had last time. Why did Diana wait over an hour to kill him?
That's also circumstantial. None of us know what really went on between those two in an hour. Ruling someone out because they took a long time to murder is stupid.
Without context, Sure, I'd say the same. But since the boiler room is unlocked, anyone can enter. If Diana knocked Wolfgang out, then she took over an hour to kill him with that info in mind.
Okay, but who would enter? No one wants to make a detour down some gross, freaky-looking basement. The boiler room is probably the most covert place a person can be.
Most covert place? Her words do make sense. After all, I chose to meet Tozu in the boiler room for that very same reason.
Diana claims she didn't write the notes, and she claims she didn't shoot the gun, but where's the hard proof she didn't do any of these things?
The answer lies in what destroyed the generator.
What?
Didn't we already talk about that?
All you guys did was discuss theories, never anything concrete. Settling for a theory isn't good enough when our lives are on the line. In the same way Ava can't rule out Diana's involvement in the case, we can't rule out the generators.
So, we have to figure out what destroyed the generator?
The cord?
What should we do?
The
Just
shrapnel?
throw out ideas?
It's what we've been doing this whole time.
Oakley dokley. All right, everyone. Let's put our thinking hats on. If we work together, we'll unravel this mystery for sure. Ready? On your marks, get set, go!
Shrapnel.
Why did the generator blow up?
Could have just been an electrical fault.
So, a coincidence?
Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence?
Did the killer throw something at the generator that made it explode?
Perhaps it's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof anything besides the taser was in
Case. The generator blew up.
After Wolfie got shot with the taser.
Sorry.
Why did the
Let's
generator...
go to Ava.
Could have just been an electrical fault.
Pretty sure the shrapnel is.
Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence? Did the killer throw something at the generator that made it explode?
It's odd smell.
Perhaps it's the fault of the taser gun?
I'm gonna go with
The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Probably. There's no proof anything besides the taser was involved. That's...
Why did the generator blow up?
Could have just been an electrical fault. So, a coincidence? Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a
I'm gonna
coincidence?
go with shrapnel again.
Did the killer throw something at the
Because
generator
it's stuck to my gun.
that made it explode?
But then again, I've been like wrong
Perhaps
for like every
it's the fault of the
time.
taser gun?
Except for the
The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator and created an overabundance of energy, which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
Come on, Ava.
Probably. There's no proof anything besides the taser was involved. That's not significant and...
Why did the generator blow up?
Could have just been an electrical fault. So, a coincidence? Is this the best situation? To be waving stuff off as a coincidence? Did the killer throw
Josh is
something at the
just
generator
watching me right now. Ooh.
that made it
Don't make
explode?
that face.
Perhaps
That face,
it's the fault of the taser gun? The electrical discharge it released might have connected with the generator
I
and
swear,
created an
I'm
overabundance of
smarter
energy,
than this.
which caused everything in the circuit to pop.
I just did a mistake.
There's no proof anything besides the taser was involved.
No, that's wrong!
Unfortunately, Ava, I have to disagree. You say nothing but the taser could have been involved in the murder. But there's one possibility you didn't consider. The shrapnel in the water.
You mean those bits of red metal which were floating around?
Right. The ones that look like the aftermath of an explosion.
Ooh.
Due to their proximity to the generator, it's safe to assume the two are connected.
Can't that just be debris left by the generator?
Except this debris is a completely different color and lacks the rust the generator has accumulated. We're obviously looking at the remnants of something else, which means an object we haven't yet identified was caught in the explosion.
And floating near it was another out-of-place item. The cord. There's a cord. Extension. Extension cord.
This is it. In the water was also an extension cord, half of which had been burnt away.
Did the cord get caught in the explosion?
Seems that cord has the misfortune of floating around the wrong place at the wrong time.
From what I saw in my investigation, the building's extension cord supply seems to be kept inside Storage Closet D. So in a way, yeah, it was definitely in the wrong place.
Storage Closet D, huh? It was hard to make out much of it in the dark. And after the power came on, Kai came screaming for us to leave our closets. But I do recall seeing some extension cords peeking out from behind a shelf.
Since we already know the killer raided one storage closet, anyone else willing to bet they raided this one too?
The hell did they need an extension cord for?
Probably something involving the generator, given its proximity to the cord.
Same thing with the red bits. Even though we don't know what they are.
Right, the red shrapnel. It definitely isn't debris left by the generator, so what exactly is it? So far, nothing in the boiler room can be directly tied to the shrapnel. At least, not any of the clues that have already been discussed in this trial. If I were to flip my thinking and consider the clues that we haven't discussed yet, there's no proof what I have in mind is related to the shrapnel, but when all the other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards this one that has the one thing that mysterious shrapnel might be related to. No, it's not this one, it's not that one, nope, 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 nope. What has not been discussed yet? This one? Nope. What has not been discussed? No, it's not Wolfgang's neck. This one! Yeah!
This is it. Hold that thought. We may be able to identify the shrapnel using context clues. During the investigation, there was a strange smell permeating the boiler room. It took me a moment to notice, but when I did, well, the best way to describe the scent would be if you mix cereal and alcohol together.
Cereal and alcohol? Talk about specific.
Mm-hmm. 'Tis a sign a chemical reaction was at play.
Wait, you recognize the smell?
Chemical reactions can produce some pretty pungent odors. Usually something to the tune of alcohol mixed with cereal, or fruits, or eggs. I noticed the smell going into the investigation, but it had completely slipped my mind until now.
Could it be a chemical reaction was caused by the taser?
The gun never touched the water. There's no reason for it to be the source of the smell.
What about the generator?
Considering the state of it, that generator would smell more burnt than anything else.
If the chemical reaction can't be explained by what we already know, like the generator or the taser gun, we need to consider the possibility that the explanation is the one piece of evidence still evading us, the shrapnel.
Can someone translate this into less complicated talk?
It was just a long-winded way of saying he's using process of elimination.
I know it sounds like a stretch, but if you follow this line of reasoning, a lot more questions start getting answered.
Why am I feeling I'm gonna get another rebuttal?
Think about it. If the smell and shrapnel are linked, then whatever object the shrapnel belongs to must contain chemicals.
So we're looking for a metal object which is also packed with chemicals?
Surely something like that would be kept inside the pharmacy.
Looking at my notes.
I'm scared that someone's gonna kill Ulysses because he has these notes.
When we originally visited the pharmacy, I recorded everything I saw. A bright red metal object would have definitely caught my eye, but I don't see one written here.
I got lots of metallic objects in my dorm room, but nothing chemical. Just big old slabs of metal.
Big old slabs of metal. Why does that sound so familiar? Aw, that's right. What Ingrid said just now is similar to what she said, right? To what she said the night everyone began bunking together. What? I guess this would explain my room too. It's littered with all sorts of fancy tools and metals. At the time, people were talking about their dorm rooms being themed around their talents. Could it be that the shrapnel could actually be the remnants of the unique device that guy boasted about having in his room? The only thing is sure is to put you on the spot. You! Car batteries!
It has to be you!
Jet, I need to ask you something.
What's up?
Can you tell me what's inside your dorm room?
Like, a full-on list?
Whatever works.
Sure thing. I got a pretty gnarly collection of parts and accessories. Blind spot mirrors, lithium batteries, wheels, spare brakes, you name it. Oh! I even have the legendary mantle from the 1984's Grand Prix winning speedster.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Cool. So, why'd you want to know? Unless... Wait, I'm not being suspected, am I? No. Don't try to rope me into this, bro. I've got nothing to do with the murder.
I know you don't. You have an alibi. The only reason I ask is because that mysterious red shrapnel may be the remnants of one of your lithium batteries.
Oh, what?
I see. A lithium battery might explain the smell in the air.
Okay.
And lithium? That's an explosive substance.
Oh.
If it made contact with water, gosh, you'd be left with a mess and a half.
Wouldn't someone have heard an explosion, though?
I did.
Really?
During the tournament. Right before we lost power.
Oi, that's right. That was a berm.
Wait! I remember hearing it too!
I initially assumed the generator made the noise somehow. But if Jet's car batteries contain an explosive substance...
Hey, Jet! Were your batteries bright red at all?
Maybe?
You don't know for sure?
I never took the batteries out of their packaging. The packaging isn't red, I can tell you that, but the actual batteries? Yeah, I got nothing.
So it can't be proven beyond a reasonable doubt?
Pretty much.
Well, what's the reaction time of a lithium battery?
The reaction time?
When a lithium battery hits the water, how long does it take to combust? I think, once we know that, we can decide whether or not the battery is relevant to the case.
A lithium battery would be an almost instantaneous reaction, I'm pretty sure.
Lithium isn't a metal I've worked with, but it got beat into my head never to mix it with substances it doesn't like. All that electricity, the battery would have let out when it hit the water. It must have went straight into poor Wolfie.
There's warning labels on the battery for a reason.
Okay. If the reaction is instantaneous, then the battery would have entered the water only seconds before the generator exploded. That's really weird.
Is it?
According to Diana's testimony, when the explosion happened, she was still holding the taser gun. In which case, who threw the battery into the water?
Good point. We can rule out Wolfgang, since the Blackens can only be a student who kills another student. And Diana.
It was only Diana and Wolfgang in the boiler room. So unless Diana herself was the one to throw the battery, then the battery can't play a part in the murder.
I didn't throw the battery! I promise!
The shrapnel and generator are too close for comfort. They must be correlated. I'll admit that That Diana throwing the battery is a possibility, but that's all it is. Possibility. There may still be another way for the battery to enter the water. And until I've ruled that out, I won't settle for a culprit just yet. Okay. Generator, extension cord, shrapnel, taser gun.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
No.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere, so it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva described?
If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun?
Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to make.
Everybody is quick to say the battery was thrown, but when I consider the boiler room and which objects the killer could leverage, when that person considers impossible, it starts to sound anything but.
If the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
Lifting a battery
would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though. The extension cord has something to do with this.
So it must have been submerged another way. Perhaps something akin to what Eva did? If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun?
Oh, it's a contradiction.
Judging by the shrapnel, the battery
Would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator.
Not the hardest shot to make.
I'll try shooting at Toshiko's statements.
If the battery
is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water. But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much. Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though. The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere.
I'll shoot Eva's instead.
Something akin to what Eva described? If that battery is the murder weapon, why is there a taser gun? Maybe it's a red herring.
Judging by the shrapnel,
The battery would have landed in the water, a few inches from the generator. Not the hardest shot to make.
If the battery
is related to the case,
only Diana could have thrown it in the water. If the battery is related to the case,
Okay, let's go to Toshiko.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though. The battery clearly
Maybe
couldn't
it
have fallen from
somewhere. Nope. It wasn't meant to
if
be.
the battery is related to the case, only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
But my arm had been cut. Lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though. The battery clearly couldn't have fallen from somewhere.
There we go.
No, that's wrong!
No. The battery might actually have fallen from the generator.
But how?
What makes you say that?
That's my question. How?
The shrapnel's position in front of the generator suggests there's a correlation between the two. However, it's unlikely Diana threw the battery at the generator. Not only is the boiler room difficult to see in, the generator is positioned far enough from the concrete platform that Diana, with her wounded arm, would need to stand on the platform's edge to make the shot, which would obviously put her in danger of being attacked by Wolfgang again.
Yeah. Wolfgang was really close. He could reach over to me if he wanted.
If the battery hadn't been thrown, the only other possibility is that it fell down into the water. And considering the layout of the boiler room, what else could the battery fall off of? Except the generator.
Are you saying the battery was sitting on top of the generator?
Not on top, but maybe. Leaning over? What's the difference between all three of these?
Imagine the killer
is the tab.
Well,
I see. And
suspended over?
I got it.
I don't know the difference between the three.
The battery may have been suspended over the generator.
Suspended over.
If the battery was suspended by something, then the presence of that item starts to make a lot more sense. What was the battery suspended by? Extension cord.
This is it. The killer could have tied the extension cord around the battery and slung the battery over the generator. If the cord and battery were tied together at the time of the generator's explosion, it would explain why half of the cord had been burned away.
The more you explain it, the more unbelievable it sounds.
What if that's the point? Maybe the killer chose a crazy method because no one would believe it.
I don't see how weaving a cord into the mix is any more beneficial than leaving it out. If anything, the cord adds extra weight.
Which would be especially inconvenient for Diana, because her arm was bleeding.
Right. It wouldn't benefit Diana to hold the cord. So, what if she didn't? Something else may have been supporting the cord instead.
Something like... What was holding the cord? An object.
I got it. Throughout this trial, we've assumed the killer held the battery in some form or another. If the battery was on its own, the killer tossed it in. If the battery was wrapped with a cord, the killer held the other end of the cord. But in the same way something else can hold the battery, can't something else also hold the cord?
Ugh, my head's starting to spin.
Are you talking about something which could keep the cord in place?
Something to keep the cord in place. I imagine the cord and the battery it's tied around in front of the generator in the same spot where the shrapnel has surfaced. The vent. Yeah? Yeah.
This is it. The killer tied the cord to the vent.
What vent?
The one above the generator. It connects the boiler room and the dining hall.
There's a vent above the generator?
You should remember some light shining into the boiler room. That's where the vent is. The vent itself is set a bit far back into the wall. So, you probably assumed the spot was a small window or something.
If the boiler room and the dining hall are separated by one vent, does this make the wallpaper thin, or...?
No.
There's two vents. The boiler room vent and the dining hall vent. Both are connected via a small ventilation shaft. I was able to get a close look at the boiler room vent after Ava and I woke up, which is why I know these details.
How close is close for someone under 6 foot?
Ava helped me reach the vent.
By?
Letting me sit on her shoulders.
Quite the visual.
Don't rub it in.
Anyway, if the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end around the battery, they could suspend the battery over the generator.
Something like that would result in an explosion.
What do you mean?
You say the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other end to the battery. However, indoor extension cords are much longer than regular cords. They can be upwards of 9 or more meters in length, as opposed to the average cord's 2 meters. 9 meters is significantly longer than the distance between the vent and the boiler room floor. If the killer wanted to tie the battery to the cord's other end, they would be tying it to something which is already submerged in water.
I see! It is an impossible setup!
Not necessarily. The killer can have greatly reduced the length of cord by doing that. What?
Cut. And where exactly?
Could have been the storage closets.
Well, I've been through those closets twice.
Not even plot?
I didn't see plot.
You believe the victim?
So this...
No. Having the cord around the battery.
I got it.
Yeah, oh my god, I don't know why I did that.
The extension cord is pretty thin and flimsy. If the killer wanted the battery to be secure, they need to wrap a lot of cord around it.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Probably to the point there wouldn't be much spare cord remaining. Which is a good thing, because this spare cord is what the battery will be suspended by.
Jesus.
So long as the spare cord isn't too long, the battery will sit safely above the water,
So much effort.
Agreed. How do you even submerge the battery into the water under those circumstances?
How? Simple. By adjusting the cord's position. All the killer would need to do is to utilize a certain aspect of the boiler room. Yes. The vent.
This is it.
I don't know why I pressed the generator.
Like I mentioned earlier, I gave the vent a close look after originally waking up in the boiler room. Part of my inspection included opening the vent to get a better look at the other side.
The vent can be opened?
Not all the way, but far enough for the vent to cause a domino effect if then closed. In our case, a domino effect involving the extension cord tied to it. If we assume the vent must be open for the battery to remain a safe distance above the water, we end up with a pulley system. To prevent the battery from entering the water, the vent is literally pulling the entire cord backwards.
Oh.
Ergo, it's not just the killer's own measurements keeping the battery in place, but the vent itself. Having opened one of these vents before, I can tell you how tough they are to move.
Wrapping my fingers around the gate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could.
A lightweight battery definitely isn't heavy enough to pull one shut. It takes an actual person to close one, which is great for the killer, because it means they get to maintain full control over when the battery enters the water. If they close the vent, the cord should slide forward and submerge the battery into the water. When that happens, the boiler room water becomes electrified by the battery's components, which in turn causes electricity to pass directly into the body of Wolfgang, who is standing in the water.
Exactly which vent is the cord being tied to?
The boiler room vent.
Funny. Earlier, you said there's a small vent shaft connecting the boiler room vent to the dining hall vent. Assuming the killer is operating this trap from outside the boiler room, since we know there were only ever 2 people in that room, how would they even be able to reach the boiler room vent? Like you said, there's a separate vent in front of it.
She has a point. I've been assuming the cord is tied to the boiler room vent, but I failed to consider the ventilation shaft. It becomes considerably harder to reach the boiler room vent if you have to reach down that shaft first. Not just that, I never even tested to see if the boiler room vent can open inwards. I only got it to open outwards. By that logic, a vent should at the opposite side of the shaft.
This could only mean one thing. The killer never tied the cord to the boiler room vent. They tied the cord to the dining hall vent.
That just creates the same problem as before, but reversed. Instead of the dining hall vent making it hard to close the boiler room vent, it's the boiler room vent making it hard to reach the dining hall vent.
While the vents may seem like an obstruction, especially since they can't be opened all the way, there's a very easy workaround. All the killer needs to do is fit the extension cord between the grates of the boiler room vent.
Also, it could be one person in the dining hall?
Oh yeah, the grates. You mentioned something about them earlier. Right, when you described opening the boiler room vent.
I'm not reading that again.
If you can fit your fingers between the grates, there's no damn way you can't fit a cord.
Exactly. After which, you can slide the cord through the ventilation shaft and out the opposite end for the killer to then go and tie to the...
Actually...
What the... Okay, Ulysses.
Hello?
What is it now?
There's something I still don't understand about your theory. It's to do with the logistics of the cord.
The logistics?
Its size.
We're back to discussing this again? Never mind. I'll find a way to combat this argument, just like I've done countless times already. I mean, it's a fair argument, but like, still. blackout generator extension cord.
I understand the boiler room vent can be opened. Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit an extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder.
Oh, I only have one guess. I've been doing things so wrong.
I understand the boiler room vent can be opened. Maybe not all the way, but enough to fit an extension cord through. What's bothering me, however, is that the boiler room vent was closed during the investigation, which means it must have been closed during the murder.
Oh, God, not again. What?
I don't see a problem here. The killer doesn't even need to open that vent, because they could simply slide the cord between the grates.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate?
No,
either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point and someone else closed it. That is my issue. Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point and someone else closed it. That is my issue.
Not again. Nah.
Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point and someone else closed it. That is my issue. Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. My point still stands. Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. How can the killer fit both those plugs between the gaps in the vent grate? Either the boiler room vent was never involved, or it was open at some point and someone else closed it. That is my issue. Indoor extension cords may be thin, but the plugs on either side of them aren't. Indoor extension cords may be thin,
sure, let's just
but the plugs on either side of them aren't.
I'll put through those words!
What? What is it?
If you insert the cord through the boiler room vent first, it's possible to fit the cord through. You just need to start with the internal plug. The cords in storage closet D have a slim internal end. This can easily be slid through the gaps in the vent.
Okay.
Once the killer ties the cord around the dining hall vent, presumably with a knot, the cord won't be at risk of sliding back out either.
I see. When put like that, whether or not the boiler room vent was closed isn't really relevant.
How'd you figure all this out from some shrapnel and an extension cord? This is crazy.
You're crazy. Who would do this all this effort?
At the same time, what he's describing sounds plausible.
Since the battery was suspended over the generator, it's no surprise the machine ended up the way it did. Fortunately for Diana, she was safe by virtue of remaining on the platform. I imagine that was also the killer's intention.
The killer kept her on the platform?
They must have known they were injecting Wolfgang with a hallucinogenic. So, it's possible they hoped his behavior would scare Diana off from entering the water. Although, even if Diana did die, the moment people realized only she and Wolfgang entered the boiler room, they'd probably call the whole thing a murder gone wrong.
Well, all of this certainly changes things.
Huh?
If the killer is someone who needed access to the vent and needed to be operating from the dining hall, then everyone who attended the tournament is a suspect.
Oh no!
What?
Huh?
No way!
One of the tournament attendees is the killer. Damn it, how did I not realize sooner? No! No way. The fact that the killer could even access the vent means they must have been the dining hall at the time of Wolfgang's
So we can
murder.
reduce it down to 8 people. Damon, Kai, Grace, Eva, Cassidy, Jed, Mark, and John.
It was probably Cassidy. She set the whole thing up.
Hey, I was only trying to improve the mood.
It wasn't me. I was playing a game with Damon when the lights went out.
I had to play music.
Me too.
You never touched my equipment.
I meant I was watching Kai and Damon play.
I was spectating as well.
Me too.
Me 3! And Cass 2, I think? I was too focused on the game to remember who was or wasn't there.
If everyone's telling the truth, then all 8 of y'all were crowded round the same spot?
Near the right wall where the TV was set up. It's also the furthest wall from the vent.
Seems like someone is lying again.
The tournament participant who flipped the vent, I could deduce who that person is by determining everyone's positions directly before the blackout. The problem is, I myself had been totally preoccupied with the game. I never got a good look at the actual people around me. Never got a good look. Wait, is that it? While I never got a good look at the others, I can still deduce their general positions, and if they were near me, or from whether or not I heard them. Think. Who and what did I hear back then? It was you. The only person I have heard. Mark was playing music, so obviously he's off the charts. Kai, Damon, and I were literally playing. Cassidy, John, and Grace were literally on the couch. I remember seeing them. Oh no. No. No way. No way. It's not. It's not. No. It is not her. No.
It has to be you!
No!
The killer is Ava.
Huh?
Ava's the only one whose position I can't account for.
No.
Mark was mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game, so I know he must have been stationed at his pad. And everyone else? I remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone. Except Ava. In fact, the last I saw her, she was standing in the corner of the room with the vent.
So Ava flipped the vent?
Oh man! And the reason no one heard it is because the music was too loud!
Don't blame me. I was just doing what I was told.
No one's blaming you. We're all in on Eva.
Eva?
Care to contribute anything, Eva?
No. No.
I didn't flip the vent.
Well, Damon says you did.
Damon says a lot of things.
While you aren't technically wrong, I don't think that counts as an argument.
His theory is full of plot holes. He just refuses to point them out.
What plot holes?
The cord.
What?
In retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem with the cord. If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Trick question! You left the cord tied to the vent!
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
You got me there.
How did Ava get rid of the cord? I'm sure it's possible if she knew how to untie it at the right time.
You untied the cord before the
Someone would have...
When everyone left? How would you do it in the blackout?
I got it. To dispose of the cord. You just untied it during the blackout.
She untied the knot during a blackout?
Being the one who set up the trap, Ava could have easily practiced untying the knot in advance. Or she just made it a really simple knot.
Gosh, did you touch him?
Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes closed.
If Ava untied the cord, did it also fall into the water?
Diana's testimony says as much.
It does?
During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recounted hearing certain sounds.
No. No. This can't be right. Surely this is just another fake out. Surely it's just a fake out. Plop.
The first sound was obviously the battery exploding. And the second, when you first recounted the story, you said it was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash?
I'm not happy.
Then, do you think...
What really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water.
When you say it that way, it does seem likelier.
I should have known. The kid who lied about her talents and tried to lie about the Tozy trinkets. I should have known. I should have known only Eva fucking Tanaka would kill Wolfgang!
You're right that Eva's lied to us several times already.
But she's just a mathlete. How did someone like her come up with something this complicated?
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Even so, the sheer volume of items Eva had to steal. She's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet and Desmond's rooms without being noticed?
It's impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes. I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
No. Oh, there's definitely a way.
Right on.
It doesn't have to be Jet.
Me.
You're late for a reason. You stole the car battery.
They already did.
And anyway, how could I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator? If anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
I understand why people are doubtful, but I can't let the conversation continue like this. Ava did, in fact, have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use... this?
Ava...
That's setting myself up.
Flexing your...
I'm saying Damon would have... But he never...
Couldn't...
Then the
This I can confirm.
What can she get on? This? Girl?
I'm not...
Then what can she get on? Help. Nope.
I'm not tall enough.
Can I grab these?
This is it.
Yeah.
Ava, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room. There's already a huge pile of them near the generator itself. You could easily push one up against the machine.
Ah. She would have known about those boxes in advance, too. since she explored the boiler room with you ahead of time.
Okay, I could have used the boxes to reach the top of the generator, and I could have fit the cord through both vents if I inserted the right plug. I can do both of those things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Which vent are we talking about?
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be opened for the killer's trap to work. But opening it during the tournament is asking to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
Oh yeah, you're right. If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for sure.
You know, put the
Now
wire
that
in.
Eva mentions it,
I know,
I'm
everyone
pretty
would've
sure the
seen.
vent was closed during setup.
The vent was
See?
closed.
There's no way I can execute this trap without being caught. It's a stupid trap anyway. All the cord and vent stuff is too complicated.
It's not Eva.
There's a billion ways it could go wrong.
Not Eva.
Damon's just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
What the? That's bullshit.
Can it, you four-eyed troll! You can't talk your way out of this one!
Never mind.
The only person who would be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you and only you! Don't you fucking try and tell me otherwise!
Okay, so it's still Ava. It could be Ava, and I don't want it to be Ava. It could be someone else. Maybe like kill Ulysses or something.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence. No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament. And now you're saying I'm a killer.
Never mind. Like I said before, focus on facts. I just need to focus.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence. No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament. And now you're saying I'm a killer.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold the phone.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
No, it was already brought
It
up.
seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despised him because of it. You have a motive!
Shrapnel? No.
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence. No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament. And now you're saying I'm a killer.
I have no clue on what to do. I need a bit of a push here. I'm at a loss.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are. And you despised him because of it. You have a motive.
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it,
I missed.
but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself.
Nope.
See? Even Damon
it couldn't.
Precisely.
Well, I don't know why I was trying to agree with her.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Mechanism is wrong?
Maybe it wasn't
Closing the vent that triggered it, but something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was
so, the process was I wanted to restart, and I didn't really want to go all that because you know it's a lot of dialogue. You know, yeah. Do I agree with
you can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
No, wait. That's the one thing that I can disagree on. Girl, I'm dumb. Fine. I only have 24 seconds. I only have 24 seconds.
Do you have any evidence to prove that? Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
It's a little time.
How so? Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord
with a special knot which can
untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
I'm gonna die. I was running out of time regardless. Let's go back. Let's go back to full health.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
That seems to be pretty good evidence to me. What can explain you for the snake you are? And you despise him because of it. You have a motive. Perhaps our understanding
of the mechanism is wrong?
Let's just try to shoot Toshiko's.
Maybe
it wasn't
closing the vent that triggered it.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
Let me just stick to my guns. Let me just disagree. I should have just stuck with my guns.
Do you have any evidence to prove that? Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described. How so? Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes. Evidence! No one here cares about evidence!
Just happened
to be at the game tournament.
Are you a moron? You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
It seems to be pretty good evidence to me.
Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are. And you despised him because of it. You have a motive.
Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't closing the vent that triggered it.
No one said
but
anything.
Something else?
Do you have any evidence to prove that?
Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described.
How so?
Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord with a special knot which can untie by itself after a bit of time passes.
There's even less evidence for that!
Evidence? No one here cares about evidence. I just happened to be at the game tournament. And now you're saying I'm a killer.
Please give me the answer.
You can't say I'm the murderer just because I sat near a vent.
That seems to be pretty good evidence to me. Wolfgang exposed you for the snake you are, and you despise him because of it. You have a motive! Perhaps our understanding of the mechanism is wrong? Maybe it wasn't causing a vent that triggered it. But something else? Do you have any evidence to prove that? Even if this trap was used, you can't guarantee it operated the way Damon described. How so? Well, the battery could have been tied to the extension cord.
Josh, my brain works in a very weird way.
After a bit of time passes.
Like, you've seen me literally get it in one try. Which is really rare, but like, still.
I just happened to be at the game tournament.
No, that's wrong!
God. Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
No. It's no coincidence you were at the game tournament. In fact, it's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
She literally...
What do you mean?
It was impossible for me to notice this earlier, but the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for the murder.
Oh my god.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you said Ava was the culprit!
The detective isn't supposed to switch suspects in the last stretch like this! You're totally throwing the audience for a loop, and not in a good way!
Except neither of you played a role in determining what time the tournament would be held. The only person to determine that was Ava.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. My stream is like frozen. I don't know why, but it's doing that, so I don't know if it's doing well. I can't see my own stream for some reason. It's annoying me. If I could help our video game skills. A 9 AM tourney, huh? What would be the first time? Screw it, let's do 9 AM. 1 hour after the morning announcement. Oh my god.
Ava knew she would be in the dining hall tomorrow.
God.
So when Cassidy announced the tournament, she realized it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
She suggested it, too. Oh my god, of course. Oh my god.
To create an alibi for herself.
That's insane. How could she have come up with something like that on the spot?
It wasn't just for an alibi either. Since Ava knew about the tournament, she could time the setup of her trap accordingly.
So to answer her question to why neither Cassidy, Jet, nor Mark noticed the open vent, when I think back on what Cassidy told me earlier today, before the morning tournament began, I can discern exactly when Ava opened the vent. When did... Mark's equipment?
Ava opened the...
Someone would...
Oh yeah. After stacking the furniture?
I got it!
Yeah. Okay.
Cassidy, you told me Ava approached you yesterday and asked to help set up the tournament. What exactly did she say?
When did I tell you this again?
Before the tournament?
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, Eva wanted to see what sort of equipment the tournament needed. After I showed her Mark's stuff and told her we were redecorating the dining hall, she offered to help.
Back when this conversation happened, you still hadn't decided what time you were going to start redecorating.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
Oops.
Eva really helped me out, though. She said she would stack the dining hall furniture we weren't going to use later that night. Afterwards, we could focus purely on arranging the technical stuff in the morning.
Alright. Then tell me what happened last night.
Jet, Mark, Eva, and I came to the dining hall at around 8:40 p.m. probably. We stacked the table and the dining chairs against the left wall, and the sofas we moved to the middle of the room, maybe a little more to the right.
Okay, I need to go to the bathroom and I need to piss bad. Hola. Okay. I'm all rejuvenated and I'm ready to go.
Then we all went back to our dorms. Well, I was kind of hungry, so I stayed back a few minutes before leaving.
Okay.
Hold the phone! If those sofa chairs were moved to the middle of the room, why'd I see one over in the corner this morning?
'Cause Eva pushed it there.
Eva what?
She didn't want to take part in the tournament. Just watch it from the side. I never thought it was weird or anything. Some people just like sticking to the walls of rooms, you know?
We're talking about the sofa in the upper left corner, aye? The one next to the coffee table.
Where's my stream?
Yes, sirree, Bob!
Yo, when the power went out, I'm pretty sure Damon ran over to that corner to look through. Yeah, a vent!
Did she move the chair there so it would be easier to reach the vent later?
Why would I when Cassidy just said the vent was closed during setup?
Because you were covering for yourself in advance.
Huh?
The vent may not have been open at the time, but I'm willing to bet that's because you were still creating your trap.
Yes, I'm hydrated.
In what way?
I've been drinking a lot of water.
Let's say Ava took a detour for the boiler room first, and slid
I
the
didn't
internal
drink water
plug
right
through
now.
both
No,
vents.
I can do that later. I don't have my water bottle already.
After going upstairs and helping rearrange the dining hall furniture, during which she moves a sofa chair so it obscures the vent, she heads outside and hides until everyone else goes to bed. Then, she walks back in and opens the vent.
So Eva took complete advantage of them?
Not my fault those two are so trusting.
You think a big guy like me was gonna be afraid of some mathlete? No way!
I mean, she did lie about a lot of important things. Her
Do I
talent
really need to
being
go
one of them.
drink water? Do I really have to?
She also cried and fled the scene after we found out, no?
I just thought it was cool. She wanted to help me out.
Hey, can we backtrack a little? Like, to before all this Ava talk?
Why? What happened?
It's to do with the chair's position.
The chair?
You guys keep saying it was in front of the vent, but Damon stood in front of the vent during the blackout. If the chair was in the position you all say it was, It should have blocked him from crouching in front of the vent.
Ava probably just moved it during the blackout. Before the blackout, it was positioned with its back to the left wall. However, when I ran over to the vent, the chair was suddenly pushed up against the northern wall, out of the vent's.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Ava must have shifted the chair while everyone was initially panicking from the blackout. I'm guessing she hoped people would misremember its position and think it was always along the northern wall.
Oh man! So I totally fell for it?
I also remember seeing a speaker in that corner.
Yeah, about that. This morning, Jet, Mark, and I arrived at the dining hall a little after 8 a.m., then Eva came a few minutes later. She helped us put together Mark's equipment, which was stationed in the lower right corner of the room. And then she volunteered to place speakers around the room while Jet and I set up the TV next to the fireplace.
Moving a speaker near the vent. Did Eva do that to drown out Diana and Wolfgang's scuffle?
Yeah, and in turn exacerbate the effects of the other speakers. There were almost a dozen spread throughout the dining hall. Some even sandwiched into corners they didn't need to be. Ava probably placed them that way to cover as much ground as possible.
Still. Eva entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m., right? So wouldn't it be impossible for her to knock out Lawyer Man at 8:15 a.m.?
According to Ava, she arrived around 8:10 a.m. But it's possible she actually arrived much later. Since there's no clock in the dining hall, he just couldn't have known. In fact, that might be why Ava seemed so eager to arrange Mark's equipment in the morning. Upon realizing it had a clock, she wanted to ensure it would only be powered on after she arrived.
It seems the setup of this trap occurred across 3 phases. Phase 1 took place in the boiler room and involved tying a lithium battery to an extension cord. The cord was then slid through the grates of the closed boiler room vent, presumably until it almost poked out the other end of the ventilation shaft. Phase 2, by contrast, was carried out in the dining hall. The aforementioned cord was tied around the dining hall vent, which was then left open. This must have happened after Cassidy, Mark, and Jet were already done redecorating. For the third and final phase, the battery was carefully suspended over the generator. All these steps combined created a pulley system, which could only be triggered by closing the dining hall vent. Is there anything I'm missing?
How I closed the vent.
Huh?
No one has explained how I closed the dining hall vent. Obviously, I didn't do it during the blackout. According to Damon, the blackout can only happen after the vent is closed. So, I must have stood up, gone behind the chair, and closed the vent during the tournament. That's stupid. Someone is definitely going to notice that sort of conspicuous movement. It doesn't matter if that someone is on the opposite side of the room. They're going to notice.
How did we overlook such an obvious discrepancy?
He was right. Setting up would look really suspicious, which is exactly why she used that to circumvent the problem. Well, what allowed Ava to close the vent without attracting suspicion? It's about to say that I don't know. Sure, whatever that is.
Who cares if the music was loud?
Hey, the tournament equipment is innocent! It was on the other side of the room.
No, here. Sure, let's use the chair.
This is it. The location of your chair bypasses this problem entirely.
Okay, so I messed up. That's my fault.
To close the vent, all you need to do is set the chair to recline and reach behind you.
Set the chair to recline?
All the dining hall chairs have the ability to recline. Some were already sent to that position at the start of the tournament, including Ava's. With her chair and recline, Ava can easily reach down and close the vent without shifting from her position. It's not perfectly inconspicuous, but it's subtle enough to not catch most people's attention, especially those focused on watching a video game competition. Well, am I wrong?
This isn't funny. Just because I was sitting in front of the vent doesn't mean I was the one who triggered the mechanism.
No one can sneak up behind you without drawing attention, especially when all the lights were still on.
That's just dumb! Where I was sitting shouldn't make me a murderer.
Even so, with everything we've spoken about...
No.
Everything? Did you already forget what was said earlier? Just look at all the items I would need to set up this murder. The battery, the extension cord, the rolling pin, the taser, the syringe, and the supposed drug used with it. How could I have collected all of those things? Wolfgang and everyone else hated me because I lied about my talent. They were on their guard whenever I was around. You think Jet and Desmond would just let me walk into their rooms and take their stuff?
That's true. We still haven't explained how she robbed 2 people's rooms without being caught.
Unless you can prove I had the chance to get all this stuff, you can't make me out to be the killer.
Fine. I'll show proof. Only you could obtain the items necessary for this murder. I got it. Ava, you were well aware of the existence of those items. For starters, everyone heard about Jet's battery. It was common knowledge due to his boasting.
Wait, so it's all my fault? Ouch.
Yeah, Jet. It was.
Since the dorms aren't
partially
locked, you could have easily snuck in and grabbed the battery while no one was inside. The battery is lightweight too, so you wouldn't have trouble carrying it. For the rest of your plan, the syringe and drugs are both readily available in the pharmacy. And as for the taser, you may not have known about its existence right away, but you still had every incentive to search Desmond's room because you received his blackmail.
Eva? You knew my blackmail this whole time and never said anything?
So what?
Huh?
So what if I knew? I wasn't the only one. Damon knew your blackmail as well.
Oh yeah, he read it out loud to everyone earlier, didn't he?
Damon knew almost everything I did. He knew where the items used in this murder were stored. He knew the layout of the boiler room and the storage closets. He knew all sorts of things. The only thing he didn't know is the one thing more important than any piece of physical evidence.
The hell are you talking about?
See, you still don't know. You still don't know that we never saw eye to eye.
Huh?
Eye to eye... on the not killing each other stuff?
On Wolfgang. Damon saw the way Wolfgang scolded me and treated me like a bad guy, and he thought I hated him the same way he did. But unlike Damon, I never wanted Wolfgang to die.
What the?
Whoa! That's a loaded accusation!
Not a first for this trial.
If you thought you saw the worst of Damon after the dummy trial, you underestimate just how low he can stoop. I practically risked my life pretending to be his ally. But in return, he let me see the extent of his deceitfulness, which is why I can tell everyone that Damon has Wolfgang's blackmail.
Oh gosh!
Oh, you messy bitch.
Any reason you didn't tell us this earlier?
Well, I didn't think it was incriminating at first.
Not even when he refused to come forward about it?
That was weird, but I didn't want to make accusations at the time because it could have just been his ego talking. Only after watching him reject the taser gun over this dumb mechanism he made up did I realize I had potential evidence on my hands.
Damon, do you have your blackmail on you? Don't worry about reading it out loud or anything. Just show the image. That's all you gotta do.
Did Ava never trust me? Why then did she disclose so much to me? What did she tell me? Did I trust you? Oh. Jesse. No, this can't be at the forefront of my mind right now. I'm on the cusp of bringing this case to a close. What Ava thinks about me shouldn't matter. What she thinks about me. You took my side way back at the beginning, remember? We were the only people who refused to listen to that lawyer, and you helped solve the mystery behind the whole case. No one thanked you, though. I'm really sorry about how things turned out. The other students wouldn't have treated you unfairly if it wasn't for me. Damn it. This entire time I've been judging the others for how trusting they are, not even realizing I was blindly following the words of a stranger. And now everyone here, they're gonna hold this blackmail crap against me, even more than if I'd just come forward earlier. Even so, what choice do I have? No one will let the discussion continue unless I tell the truth.
Fine. I'll show it, but only the picture. As requested.
With those words, I retrieved the envelope from my pocket and pulled out the photo.
He's married?
Ingrid, Wolfgang doesn't have blue eyes.
So, who is this then? His parents?
I mean, why else would the guy look like him?
Given the year this photo was taken, these two people must be his parents. Look at what's printed at the bottom. April 17th, 2001. We know how old Wolfgang is because of the student reports. In 2001, he wasn't even born yet.
And his parents get it. Jesus, Josh.
But why his parents? Are they being held against their will?
You can't leave us hanging, Damo! You gotta read out what it says!
That's not what was asked of me. And even if I had to, I don't think someone who can't explain himself should have his secrets revealed to everyone.
Some things are better left unsaid.
For the record, I know what Wolfgang's blackmail says, but it didn't change my outlook on him. I don't think it's possible for anyone to hate someone like Wolfgang.
But still.
He was always brave in the face of sheer adversity, and encouraged everyone else to act likewise. Wolfgang challenged me to be a better person. Wolfgang challenged all of us to be better people. And maybe Ava simply couldn't rise to his challenge.
Don't listen to him! He's trying to divert everyone from the truth!
Even though Wolfgang and I didn't always see eye to eye, my respect for him and his talent never wavered. Why would someone like me harm him? Me, who's been leading this trial much the same way he led the one before. I may have questioned the idea no one here would kill, but that doesn't make me someone who wants to see bloodshed.
He does! He does want bloodshed! We have all the proof he's a cold-blooded killer! Wolfgang's blackmail, which he lied about having!
But wasn't Damon playing?
Nothing he says should be trusted. Nothing he says about me, or anything else.
Oh, here. It says... Oh my god, this is so funny. It says Blix Dynub admitted the permitted term hunt. No, Josh, it said that I could approve the message. I was like, sure, let me just press it, yeah. And then it sent. I was like, oh.
It is odd that we place faith in a man who does not have faith in us. So much so, these discussions are mostly led by his own conjecture.
Damon isn't the killer, though. Why would he try to mislead anyone? Like, he and I were playing a game when the murder happened, and multiple people can vouch for us.
Not to mention, the things he's been saying make a lot of sense.
Truth has no personal alliance. That's why.
Even if he wasn't here, we'd arrive at the same conclusion anyway.
Depends who you mean by we.
Then, you all still think I'm the killer?
Someone needs to be voted by the end of this.
Don't just say it like that!
Okay.
Ouch! My ears!
How would I know? How would I know? When to drop it!
Drop what?
The battery! Damon says the killer dropped the battery when Diana was already in the boiler room. But how would I know when Diana was in the boiler room? It's not as if I could listen out for her. The music speakers are too loud. And the dining hall has no clocks. So it'd be impossible for me to know if it was 8:45 a.m.
Right. Only Mark's DJ pad had a clock.
Maybe Ava asked Mark for the time.
Josh, Cham, don't do this. Please help me.
She never spoke
I might
to me.
forget. Ragged Queen
We
out.
never spoke! I never even got up from my chair! Besides, how could I be sure Diana arrived on time anyway?
Please!
If you can't explain how I
Imagine
knew
if I
when
solved
to
this
drop
on my
the
second
battery,
try.
then
Oh.
shut up and stop accusing me!
Maybe fifth. Let's assume fifth to be lucky. Did you just rely on chance? No, that doesn't seem likely. Her entire plan fails if the timing isn't right. Come on, think. If my years of debate have taught me anything, I need to look at this from another angle. If I just take this from the top while assuming Ava is the killer. How did Ava know when to drop the battery? Huh? She heard Diana enter. No, because the music was loud. She checked the time. No. She can't see from there. Well, I can't see this. This is stupid. I'll go with this one. Nope. Really? It's either these two? She saw.
I got it. The only way the killer would have known when to spring their trap
wasn't she sitting?
was by seeing Diana enter the room. Any uncertainty would ruin the plan.
How would she know?
The dining hall was too loud to hear anything over.
How would she know when she saw her? No, she saw. So where did she watch Diana from? There's only two possible places. The vent? She watched from the... How? Wasn't she facing...
Trying to look into the boiler room through the vent is impossible.
Right. Where? How? No. No.
This is it. It's impossible to see anything from the vent, which means the only way anyone could see into the room was by using the school cameras.
Say what?
I don't understand how, but Ava must have used the camera.
How did she use it?
Is she working with the kidnappers?
Are you kidding me? How the hell would I have access to the camera?
In order to actually see what was happening on the security cameras, what would Ava need access to? Naturally, it would have to be some sort of screen. A screen, huh? Thinking back on all the various clues we discussed, I can't pinpoint anything which could have provided an answer to that question. Feels like deja vu, doesn't it? And all other options are ruled out. I can only turn towards the one which still remains. The one thing we've yet to discuss. Ava, it's time I bring an end to what you started. For better or for worse, this one will be your final lie. Ooh, it's time to solve your final piece of this puzzle. However, it won't be without a fight. Argument altercation. Oh no. Oh. Noise bullet? What are these? Spacebar? Can I just use my mouse? Oh, they start the game with a shield, meaning they cannot be finished by any means. Or not, you can read their shield by being. Huh? Oh no, I'm on what the freaking website. I mean, it's pointless because you two aren't gonna help me. Okay. Sure. Do it, I guess. I would say have fun, but your life actually depends on it, so get going. Eva.
I didn't see anything. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. This isn't fair. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. Who cares about the camera? I just wanted to help. Why would I kill anyone? I just wanted to help. There's no proof I killed. Why would I kill anyone? I didn't see anything. This isn't fair.
What am I supposed
Who cares about the camera? I just wanted to help. Who cares about the camera? There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. This isn't fair. I just wanted to help. I didn't see anything. I just wanted to help. Damon, I thought you trusted me. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. Who cares about the camera? Why would I kill anyone? Why would I kill I didn't see anything. Why would I kill anyone? There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. I didn't see anything. I just wanted to help. It's Damon who's suspicious. I didn't see anything. This isn't fair. Who cares about the camera? There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. This isn't fair. It's Damon who's I didn't see anything. There's
Why
no
won't
proof
you
I
believe
killed
me?
Wolfgang. Why would I kill anyone? I just wanted to help. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. It's Damon who's suspicious. It's Damon who's suspicious. I just wanted to help. Who cares about the camera? There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. I just wanted to help. It's Damon who's suspicious. Why would I kill anyone? There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. I just wanted to help. How could I access the security camera?
Ava's?
I just wanted to help. It's Damon who's suspicious. I just wanted to help. It's Damon.
Okay, attempt number 2. I understood. Understood more.
There's no proof I killed. Who cares about the camera? Why would I kill anyone? Why would I kill anyone? This isn't fair.
Oh, I can just hold this. Okay. Oh.
I didn't see anything.
How?
Who cares about the camera? It's Damon who's suspicious. Why would I kill anyone? I didn't see anything. This isn't fair. I just wanted to There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. I just wanted to help. I didn't see anything. I just wanted to help. Why would I kill anyone? Why would I kill anyone? Why would I kill I didn't see any This isn't fair. I didn't see anything. It's Damon who's suspicious. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. Who cares about the camera? I just wanted to help. It's Damon who's There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. Who cares about the camera? Who cares about Damon, I thought you trusted me. This isn't fair.
Yes.
Who cares about the camera? I didn't see anything. There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. Why would I kill anyone? Why would I? I didn't see any. Who cares about the camera? Why would I kill anyone? Who cares about the camera? Why would I kill Why would I kill anyone? I didn't. Why won't you believe me? Why would I kill anyone? Who cares about the There's no proof I killed Wolfgang. Who cares about the camera? Who cares about the camera? This isn't fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. Why would I kill anyone? Why would I kill anyone? There's no proof I killed. This isn't fair. This isn't fair. It's Damon who's suspicious. How could I access the security camera?
Personal game console.
It's over. Ava, we know the truth.
No! Don't kill me!
What you said was true, Ava. Whether or not the trap works depends on if the killer can see inside the boiler room.
See, and I told y'all I would do it at the second attempt. What'd I say?
Which begs the question, how does the killer see inside? They can't just get on their knees and peek through the vent. Everyone in the dining hall would notice. Besides, the vent probably offers very little in the way of an actual view of the room.
Exactly! It's impossible!
Right. It's impossible. From this particular angle. If I switch perspectives, your entire argument comes completely undone.
Jesus. So exhausted from that fight.
What do you mean?
Ava assumes I'm taking only one factor into account. Her position at the time of Wolfgang's murder.
Now I have to worry about one thing, the summary of this case.
That in ruling out that
I don't
factor,
even remember everything.
she's led me straight to
I already
another.
forgot, because it crashed.
A certain item which could have granted her the ability to see inside the boiler room. An item that, like the chemical smell, only makes sense when all other options have been ruled out. The game console she brought with her to the tournament.
Ava had a game console?
She wanted to get in the spirit of the tournament without being directly involved.
I knew
Or so
the
she
answer,
claimed.
it's just I messed up.
But when every other option has been ruled out, what else can we look to but the one that's yet to be addressed?
Are you saying she saw inside the boiler room using the console?
So it played live footage of the room?
Sounds like a stretch.
If I'm wrong, Ava should be able to prove her innocence. Go on, Ava. Show us the console.
Huh?
I don't think she has the console on her, dude.
She has to. She never had an opportunity to slink away and dispose of it.
What about the blackout?
When the blackout first hit, people were disorientated for about a minute at most. Ava likely spent those 60 seconds undoing the cord and moving the chair. Between then and now, she's never been alone. The only exception was when she and I split up to investigate the dining hall and the dorms respectively. However, the laundry room, dining hall, and courtyard all had people in them, so I doubt
And you
she had the
guys were
console in
wishing
any
me
of those
good luck.
rooms.
Look at me.
And the janitor
I
closet,
cleaned out.
that room has
Almost
been
on my
locked for
first
days
try.
now. She
Almost.
which means
Oops.
it must still be on her person. Like I said earlier, if I'm wrong about the console, you can take it out right now and show
God.
everyone its contents.
Exhausted.
What are you waiting for? Quit hiding the stupid thing and show it!
Show it to
You're
us, Rachel.
just trying to make me look bad. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just jealous of me. You're jealous of me and my talent. That's all you are. Jealous.
Hey, calm down.
Why not just pull out the console?
Yes, show us the console and then you'll be done with this.
No!
Eh?
I don't have to show anyone anything.
That's the most suspicious thing you could say.
It's not suspicious. I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
That's obviously a lie.
Why go through the effort of mentioning Wolfgang's blackmail if you won't reveal this?
Now that I think back on it, Ava had been staring at her console the entire tournament. I thought it was weird, coming all the way over to the dining hall when she could have just stayed in her dorm.
Well, where did she obtain this console? We should discuss those details before continuing any more with these accusations.
She said she won it from Tozu's gachapon.
Seems natural he would stock that machine with dangerous items. With this being a killing game and all.
Between 14 impossible culprits and one possible killer, there's no need to sort out the facts further.
Ava, you're the only one we can vote for.
That's such twisted logic. You're going to vote for me without being completely sure I'm even guilty?
There's no need to be completely sure, if no one else can be suspected.
In case anyone still doubts Ava is the killer, I'll go through the case one last time.
This. No, this is where you guys need to be saying good luck on.
And once all the pieces are laid out for everyone to see, I'll prove she's the killer.
You saw how I flopped those non-stop debates. Oh, no. Closing the vent, then the blackout. Oh. What did... Oh, no, that's the letters. How do I move page to page? Oh, there we go. Nothing. What did the killer steal from Jet's room? This is the blackout and closing the vent. Who took the knife from the kitchen? Wolfgang, that's Diana. No, taser. Arrived in the... How do I submit an answer? Oh, there. You just have to click. Oh, during the blackout. Which one mentioned something? Oh. Nope. I only have one heart, what? The blackout, okay, there we go. Syringe. That's from the killer. That was right here. There we go. What have I unlocked? Car battery. Internal plug. Car battery. What do I do with a car battery? Killer. What? No one saw that. I have to restart. 2003. There we go. There we go. There's from the killer. Right here. Syringe. Drug. There we go. Oh, what did they do to steal from Jet's room? This one. This one. Teaser, where is she? There we go. Where do we put this? The killer. What took... Nope, not that one. I already used that one. What did I do? Why did I still go there? Yeah, there. Wolfgang. And Diana's the last one.
This is how it happened.
Okay. God.
This case was directly incited by the motive Tozu introduced, in which everyone here received another person's blackmail. Amidst the chaos that spawned, the killer saw an opportunity to commit a murder. They sent letters to two people, Wolfgang Akide, who they planned to kill, and Diana Venezia, who they planned to frame.
So that's how you say her last name, Venezia. I've been calling her Venetia.
Wolfgang and Diana were asked to meet in the boiler room in 2 days' time. Wolfgang's letter told him to arrive at 8:15 a.m., while Diana's told her to arrive at 8:45 a.m.
The messages threatened to expose our blackmail, so we had no choice but to follow their instructions.
At this point, the killer probably knew the way they were going to kill Wolfgang. Hence, how they reacted to this next piece of information. The following morning, it was revealed that Cassidy and Jet were going to hold a game tournament.
The point was for people to spend time together and not think murdery thoughts. But little did we know, a would-be killer was lurking nearby.
Opportunity to commit a murder. They sent letters to two people, Wolfgang Akide, who they planned to kill, and Diana Venezia, who they planned to frame. Wolfgang and Diana were asked to meet in the boiler room in 2 days' time. Wolfgang's letter told him to arrive at 8:15 a.m., while Diana's told her to arrive at 8:45 a.m.
The messages threatened to expose our blackmail, so we had no choice but to follow their instructions.
At this point, the killer probably knew the way they were going to kill Wolfgang. Hence, how they reacted to this next piece of information. The following morning, it was revealed that Cassidy and Jet were going to hold a game tournament.
The point was for people to spend time together and not think murdery thoughts. But little did we know,
her would-be killer was lurking nearby.
And how? The killer emboldened their own plans and made it so the tournament would happen at 9 a.m.
Did you disagree with yourself?
Both Wolfgang and Diana turned down the offer, which must have been music to the killer's ears, since it confirmed their plan was working. The killer took this as a sign to commence the next phase of their plan. Later that evening, they went downstairs to the boiler room and began preparing the murder weapon.
Though it might be more accurate to call it a murder mechanism, the killer wrapped an extension cord as tightly as they could around a car battery, which had been stolen from Jet's room. I imagine the battery must have been sitting on top of the generator. Wouldn't want to risk an explosion by bringing lithium too close to the water.
The killer avoided opening the boiler room vent for this segment, probably because they knew I'd remember it being closed originally.
A crucial part of the killer's plan would involve sliding the cord through the boiler room vent and out the other end into the dining hall, so they could then walk upstairs to the dining hall and tie the protruding part of the cord to the dining hall vent.
Funnily enough, the killer was going to be needed in the dining hall very shortly.
Yeah, to help Cass and me rearrange the dining hall's furniture. We were saving the whole thing for next morning, but they convinced us to do it that night instead.
Their intentions were threefold. Create an alibi, hide the vent with a piece of furniture, and then open the vent in secret. After which, they'd return to the boiler room and suspend the battery over the generator.
Which brings us to today. Knowing better than to head downstairs without protection, Wolfgang went to the kitchen and armed himself with a knife. Toshiko didn't notice a knife on him when the two met in the hallway, so he must have hidden it in his blazer.
Wolfgang arrived inside the boiler room at 8:15 a.m., exactly like his letter requested. As he was waiting, the killer snuck up behind him.
And he got smacked right in the head with that steel rolling pin and crumpled like paper.
A syringe was then used to inject Wolfgang with a sleeping drug, ensuring he would remain in the boiler room until Diana arrived.
The killer might have, left the taser on the floor around this time.
Yeah, the taser they swiped from my dorm. They must have decided to raid the place after receiving my blackmail. If I'd heard about the taser sooner, I could have gotten rid of it, as well as whatever else my blackmail supposedly mentions.
Save the angsting for later, will you?
Anyway, back on topic.
Wolfgang was left to lie in the partially flooded area of the boiler room, while the killer ran upstairs to help set up Mark's music equipment.
They didn't care about the equipment. They just wanted to put a speaker next to the vent, because it would drown out the fight which was going to happen later.
Don't forget the digital clock! They wanted to get there before that became available. Don't need people knowing what time you actually arrived.
My letter said to meet at 8:45 a.m., so that's when I got to the boiler room. I made sure to close the door behind me, just as the message told me to.
Bad idea. Killer flipped the doorknob so that the lock was on the outside instead of the inside. You locked yourself in!
The room was really dark too. I didn't even see the suspended battery, only the blinking security camera. And then, Wolfgang, he got up on his feet all of a sudden, and he started crying and saying these weird things. I tried to keep him calm and asked him to come over to me, which he actually did. But the very next second, he attacked me with his knife.
The drugs probably gave him a frightening hallucination, and he perceived you as a threat.
He was screaming at me, and I was screaming back. No one from the tournament could hear us over the music. At one point, I even picked up the taser, but then I threw it back down again.
And that's when the killer decided it was time. Having set their chair to recline, they were able to casually reach down and close the vent behind them. This lowered the extension cord, causing the car battery to enter the water and discharge a huge amount of electricity. Wolfgang, who was still standing in the water, was electrocuted instantly. The battery itself exploded upon reacting with the water, which the killer was likely banking on as a way to destroy evidence. All of this happened right under my nose. No one could have guessed that someone present at the tournament was committing murder.
Oh, that was nice.
The explosion also damaged the generator and caused the blackout. Everyone ended up stumbling around in the dark.
Not for long, though. We quickly came back to our senses and agreed to look for a backup generator on the underground floor.
I used a hairpin to unlock the boiler room door and ran outside, but you guys had already made it downstairs.
That's when you say you ducked around a corner and out of sight. Only after everyone went inside the closets, did you then dash upstairs.
It's a good thing she did. Otherwise, we'd have found her alone in her room with Wolfgang's dead body. We would have wrongly assumed Diana was the killer, and died as a result. This complicated scheme calls to mind only one person. One person who just so happened to be sitting in a certain sofa chair.
That person is you, Ava Sunaka.
It's over, Ava. We know the truth.
It's not fair. This isn't fair. This isn't fair.
Now, this would have been nice had it not crashed, because that would have meant I would have saved this part. I was so close to saving. I was so close. But no, they said no. Fuck you.
My blood is rushing!
It just had to piss me off. The game just had to piss me off. Okay.
Well done.
Is this your word of your
This isn't
prayer?
funny.
Can you shut up? Ooh. Ooh.
Such a spoil sport.
There must be something.
Come on.
This is...
You...
Such disrespect! Rubbish.
Son of a bitch!
Holy!
Fuck you!
Shit.
Stop lying!
This looks bad.
What's all this about?
Yeah,
Slow down.
I see.
What?
That ain't it. Duh.
Who? Me?
I'm too upset. I'm too upset to even respond right now.
Pathetic.
Huh?
Impossible!
Plot twist!
Holy!
Trigger. Miss first.
That was very...
Super best shirt it is. Got a secret lurking inside.
Well done.
I see.
Well,
How?
Well done.
For real?
No.
Pathetic. Plot twist!
Twisted!
Why the long face?
Shit.
Anybody?
Who? Me?
Damn it.
Oh, crud!
What?
Nonsense.
You.
Hang on.
Watch it.
What a joke.
Stop it!
Whoa!
Shut up!
Bro?
Oh.
Really let me down.
Ugh.
Huh?
No.
I don't understand. Why? Don't say that!
I don't want to.
No.
How can you believe that?
Shut it!
Fuck you!
Sheesh.
How can that be?
Honestly? Shocking.
My thoughts exactly.
Nope.
What?
What did you say?
Nonsense!
Who? Me?
Dude, no!
Oh no!
This isn't fair!
Worthless.
No! Stop it!
believe.
My blood is rushing!
Don't kill me! I want to live. I deserve to live. I'm going to live. I'm going to live!
No. Oh, hell no. Oh.
I can't handle it!
There's no way.
Isn't this lovely? Moving on.
I'll be damned!
Terrible. Just terrible.
Get out.
I can't believe it.
like this.
It's all my fault.
Whoa!
It is how it is.
I can do this.
Believe me.
Pardon me. Like a chameleon, I will adapt. I'll follow in Wolfgang's footsteps and continue what he wasn't able to accomplish. I'll become something new. Hold on. We won't back down.
You've got to be kidding me.
What?
Can this get any worse? Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry, Diane. That was so cringe.
Great. Good evening. Isn't this lovely?
I guess we can watch this part. Wow, I would love to do that, you know? Wow, now, oh, they're just playing in my face so nasty showing that kind of option. Well, I'm feeling some type of way. Hmm. Mhm. Um, it's so sad. Yeah, like, yes, the game decided to crash on me on my hard work. But aside from that, I'm very sad that Ava got that kind of like treatment. She didn't even get like an ounce of redemption. Mm. So bad. I feel so bad. Oh, oh God. Josh, Josh, you have the tier list thingy that I can make. I'm at a loss for words. No words can describe the pain that I'm feeling at right now. Okay, I'm gonna open my Discord. Thank you, Joshi. God. Okay. Here's the tier list. I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna open the chat again. Okay. So I'm gonna start by like alphabetical order. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna put Cassidy at first, of course. Damon, I'll put you at a B. Desmond, I'll put you below. Diana, A. Eloise, I'll put you here. I'll put Grace. I'll put you to C. Ingrid. Mama Bear. I'll put you at B. I mean A. Okay, no, this is just... Well, me personally, I would... if I were to rank people out of attractiveness, I would put John here, but for character-wise, overall, from what I've seen, I'll put Jean at C. At B, I meant, sorry. Hi. You're Oomf. But you don't really like Damon that much, but honestly, I support that, so here you go. I'm not gonna rank you. Toshiko. No. No. At best. Ulysses didn't really stand out that much. Yeah. You're an ass. I don't really like you because you like isolated us and shit. You're alright.